Hey, Jillian. Everyone's pouring in. Welcome. Tonight is all about learning social skills.
Oh, I see we have Michelle's here too. We've got quite a few Michelle's.
Awesome. We have some specials tonight. Everyone who shows up tonight is gonna get a free gift, and we're gonna do, if you stay till Q&A, we're gonna give away some prizes. So you guys wanna make sure you stick around for that. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. All right. Well, I think we'll just hop in and get started. Jen, I just want to remind you that we need to record this on somebody's computer because I'm getting notifications from Zoom that we are out of space. Did you fix that?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Hi, everybody. Hi, Labrina. Hi, Joy. Hello in the chat. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. If you don't know me, I am Michelle Rogers. I am the founder of Champions for Our Children. I am an autism mom just like you. Tonight is like exciting and I have nerves mixed in with it because we're talking about something that I'm still actively working on with my daughter, and it is on social skills. So if you didn't know, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I have a presentation I'm going to share with you. I have videos. You can actually see my daughter interacting. You can see kind of where she started to where she is. So let's get to cracking right on that. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share my presentation. Great, here we go. All righty. And we're going to be coaching tonight too. I'm going to try and go through these slides quickly because I want to coach. So anybody who's interested in getting coached tonight, I want you to raise your hand. And this is the start of the Autism Mommy Social Skills Workshop. Here with me tonight is our mindset coach. I run a group coaching program for parents of children on the autism spectrum. And Stella Rivers is here. She's the mindset coach for that program. So hello, Stella. Happy to have you. I'm sure I got some of my moms in the house from the program. I told everyone to come to this tonight because I love doing these trainings. We get very clean and specific on certain topics that we're all curious about or how we want to teach or implement into our child's lives. And this is one that's near to my heart because we're actively working on it, and it is social skills. So tonight we're just going to give you a quick introduction. I'm going to tell you about my story. If you don't really know, I have this beautiful video I'm going to share with you guys. We're going to go right into the social skills training, and then we're going to go into Q&A. And this is me, and this is Stella, and Jen is here. She's our tech person, our customer service. She's everything. She's jack of all trades. She handles everything for us. So she'll be here if you have any tech questions. Okay, so why might you be here tonight? And maybe you want your child to start communicating with you, and this is super important for you. You want your communication to go to the next level. Maybe they can tell you what they want and need, but you want that social component. You want to be able to see what they can do, what's their next level, and that's where you want to be with them. You want your child to be independent as possible. We're going to talk about the big three. These are the foundational skills that I believe all children on the spectrum need to have a chance in an independent life. We want to go past that tonight with teaching social skills. You want your child to have friends and engage with other children. I'm going to talk about very specific examples of how we did this well and how we haven't done this well. And then you want communication to just click when it comes to your child's speech. You want to stop worrying about what their future will look like if they don't communicate. This is a huge one for a lot of my parents. You want some reassurance for yourself as the parent that you've done everything you can to help them be the most, have the most fulfilled life, learn as much as possible. You want to stop feeling like every bad thing in the world is going to happen to them because you can't teach them these important life skills. And you want to stop feeling like you can't live your life. A lot of us get kind of swooped up by the diagnosis where we all of a sudden lose our own identities. We want you to have the autonomy of being the mother or the father or the caregiver of this child, but also getting your own life back too, not getting it swallowed whole by the diagnosis anymore. So this is just a little video to share of our story so you can get a little bit of understanding of us. I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, I felt so grateful and so blessed. And my life up until that point had been pretty rocky. I'd had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. And I finally thought that I was turning a corner and God was blessing me with this beautiful gift of a child. And I just, yes, finally something was going my way. And then when she was born, she was just absolutely perfect. I had all of these dreams and expectations for her. I thought of all the things that I thought she was going to do. Yeah, good girl. Right after her first birthday, I started to notice her behavior change. She went from, saying Matt. She was obsessed with Dora the Explorer, Mama, Dada. She was saying it all. Good girl, say Matt. Hit all of her milestones up to that point. She walked at 1. She was eating solid. She just, she looked really good. And then I just remember her. It felt almost overnight or very quickly where her demeanor just changed. She went from this super happy baby to crying and tantruming, just frustrated all the time. I remember saying to my mom one day during one of these tantrums, like, where did my happy baby go? But I didn't think anything past it. I think I was kind of not ready to fathom that something could be off, even though maybe the telltale signs were there. Okay. Just. Honey, you gotta get dressed. You gotta get dressed, honey. Come on, time to get dressed. She started to lose the words that she had gained. She wasn't saying mama anymore. She wasn't saying Matt. She just seemed really disconnected from us. Instead of playing with her toys, she would take them, dump them all out of her toy box, and just start twisting them around her hands aimlessly with no intended purpose. Was really kind of in denial about it. And then I remember one day we were in the middle of the store, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just started screaming and yelling like somebody had slapped her. I don't even know what the problem was. And I was so mortified. I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. I literally just left the half full cart in the store, picked her up, and just ran out of there. Never went to that store again. I just didn't even know what to think. And that was probably the first time it really kind of stung for me that maybe something is wrong. They diagnosed her. They didn't diagnose her right away. They said that she was too young for a diagnosis. I didn't even know what they meant when they said that. I was like, diagnosed for what? I just had no idea what they were talking about. And then they said, we'll come back in if you're not seeing progress. I said, okay, and a couple months later, I'm watching these speech therapists play with her on the floor. I'm not seeing any progress. It felt like she was getting a little worse. And then we went for our 2-year-old wellness visit, and the doctor said that she was behind if she wasn't using 20 words with intent. And that was probably just the knife to my heart. At that point, I really couldn't deny that something was up with her anymore. So then I called the county back in, and she was diagnosed on the spectrum. And I remember that day, and it was worst days of my life. It was my darkest hour. I could easily say that as a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, it was probably one of the hardest times I had ever gone through. And I remember just being I went from being so happy with God, so thankful, to being so pissed at doing this to her and wrecking this beautiful gift He had given me. And for a while there, I struggled. I struggled to figure out what this meant, or what we were going to do, or how this was going to define her. All those dreams I had for her future were just completely shattered, and I had no idea what was going to happen next. And I went from just hopeful to just complete blank when I thought about the future. One night I was thinking, I'm going to die one day, and who's going to care for her like mom? And something about that thought just snapped me out of my depression and my anger and my fear and said, listen, we got to get to work here. I promised that when she was born, I was going to be the best mother I could be to her. And that promise hasn't changed. In fact, she needs me more now than ever, not less. She needs me now more than ever. And I didn't know at the time what we were capable of, or what having those changes, that mindset shift for me was going to do. But I wanted to know that at the end of every night, I could look myself in the mirror with confidence and say, did you do everything you could, Michelle, to give her the best possible life? And if the answer was yes, then that was a good day. And I wanted the answer to be yes, 100%. And no matter where the cards fell, I know I could leave this earth saying I gave her everything I had.
no regrets. And as I've navigated this world with her and walked away that day after having that thought, I really just grabbed the bull by the horns. I became her fiercest advocate. I'm not a special education master's degree teacher. I don't know I never had any formal training in ABA, but I knew that I was going to learn whatever I needed to learn to be really strong for her. And Juliana lost all of her language.
Cheerios? Cheerios? You want Cheerios? Okay.
She was nonverbal when she was diagnosed.
Okay.
We taught her sign language.
Show me. Juliana, show me.
Then she went from sign language to word approximations. Then she started to speak.
Say I did it.
She went from the most restrictive preschool environment. She was in the 614, most restrictive preschool, special education preschool environment you could be in.
Good morning to you. Your name is. And how do you do? Hi, Juliana.
To now where she is almost 8 years old. She's in second grade class in a gen ed school, integrated class with difficult peers. She speaks beautifully now.
What did you like about the troll experience?
I like when they make me like coffee, and I like the thing that was paper.
She has a personality. She has conversation skills. There's still things that we need to work on, but for the most part, her future went from black to now having possibilities. And none of that could have happened had I not kind of gotten out of my own way and really hit the ground running and started to take action for her. And I can't say that I could do that for every parent I coach, but what I can tell them is I will have them feeling like I did, looking at myself in the mirror, you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I was everything I could be for her today. I have no regrets. And whatever happens, it's really for us as parents to know we fulfilled the duty that we promised when we had these children, which was to be the best versions of ourselves, to live, to raise these children. I've helped now hundreds of mothers, coach them one-on-one to do the same things I did, to help them to be strong, to help them to craft plans where we're seeing constant progress. This is what I want to do. I want to give you the chance that Juliana's had. I want to give you every opportunity to give your child that happiness.
Dear Juliana, today you will wish a day full of happiness, spent with friends, many good memories to remember days, and great times. I hope you will remember. Happy birthday, love, Jane.
Okay. I've watched that a million times. I still feel like emotional when I see it. And we have to upgrade it because it says that she's in a integrated second grade class. And actually she is now in a fourth grade general education class. If you don't know, an integrated class is co-taught by a general education teacher and a special ed teacher. There's a handful of children that have IEPs that are put in that class. So it's really a gen ed class with the special ed support. She is now gone above and beyond and is overachieved even out of that. And this is her first year in a non-integrated class in a general education classroom, and she's thriving. I couldn't be more prouder than her. And when I think about the diagnosis and I think about that moment when that happened, I had no idea that this is the life that we would be living, 8 years later. And this is where the training that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about two different things. We're going to talk about our thoughts, because it's a big part of what we do in my group coaching program. And then we're going to talk about the tactical, because 95% of the game is in your brain. And we're going to explain a little bit about that right now. So one of the things I reference a lot in all of the posts I put out there and the blogs is the big three. And these are the 3 skills that I believe all children on the spectrum need to have a chance at a life of independence. I call them the big 3, the foundational skills. The first one is potty training. The second one is no problem behaviors, or problem behaviors close to 0, so they can sit and attend and learn. And the third one is communication. And we always start with the foundation. When I say communication, means that a child needs to be able to express wants and needs. Ultimately, our main goal is to get that child verbal. And then the next part, this is the up-level training that we're talking about tonight, is to give them the next level training, which is social skills. And this is what's going to be taught over the course of like when they start to speak till when they leave the nest. Okay. So this isn't something that you're going to learn and just like learn it and teach your child in a month. We can get a lot of those foundational skills within a month or 2, but now it's the ongoing process of building out the communication part of their language, which is their social skills. And before we even get into the tactical, I want to talk about you. And I want to talk about, you know, what we put an emphasis on. And in the group coaching program, we put a lot of emphasis on the big 3. And you get the big 3, you get a child with the foundational skills to live an independent life. And this work is so important to start with because it sets the groundwork in place to come and start working on social skills. Working on social skills is up-level training because when you have the big 3 for your baby, you also have built up your mental and emotional strength to take on the craft of teaching social skills. Teaching social skills is a process, and it takes time, and it is messy as fuck. And experience creating other results for your baby is required. And the reason that is that your child's inability to be social organically, like maybe our neurotypical siblings, ourselves, or neurotypical peers, it's going to trigger you. It still triggers me. I am a coach for parents of children with autism. And if I see my kid crying because the kids wouldn't let them play with her, I'm fucking triggered. And my mind goes to, this is autism. It is my knee-jerk reaction. But I don't stay here. I can't stay here. But what I'm telling you is normal to feel this way. It's normal to have thoughts like that. Where things get shitty is when we never leave there. Okay? And we're going to talk about that tonight because this is going to be hard work. This is super triggering. And you need to be prepared for that. That's why I'm like, listen, if you need the foundational skills, we cover that all day long to the moon and back. We get families communication, reduced problem behaviors, and potty trained in a matter of months. Maybe even a month, depending on how into it they get into the program. We're going to share a link to that so you guys can have information on it. We're going to talk about it at the end of the workshop. But if you're struggling to get the foundations, I got you there. Tonight, we're going to talk about social skills, but you have to have those first. Okay? And if you're struggling, that's what my program is about. We'll talk more about that later tonight. Okay, so here's the fact. Most, if not all, autistic children have the ability to have communication skills. If not all children on the spectrum, no matter how severe their autism symptoms present, can have communication skills, then guess what? They can be verbal. Guess what? They can have social skills. Have you had thoughts like this as a parent? And I know I have. My child's never going to speak. I'm never going to hear my child say, I love you. I wish my child could be like those normal kids. What are they doing in speech? He's been in there for 3 years and he's not making any progress. I just want to have a conversation with my child. I want my child to have friendships. Will my child ever have a boyfriend or girlfriend? Will they ever get married? Can they trust? Will they be able to have real connections with people and trust that they're not going to get taken advantage of? Getting our autistic children communicating and having social skills starts with our beliefs in what we, their parents, are capable of first and what they're capable of second. The number one reason stopping your child from communication or having social skills are your thoughts about the diagnosis. Your thoughts are creating the results you are all living now. And if you come away with anything from this training, this is really, because I'm telling you, 95% of the game is here. I'm going to give you tactical. I'm going to give you good shit because I've done all of this. We're doing it right now. But I couldn't do any of this effectively if I didn't check this first. So what are your thoughts about your child with autism having communication or social skills? Do you think they're capable of communicating and speaking with somebody? Do you think you're capable of helping them to get there? Does autism mean no friends for life? Does autism mean cancer to you? Your thinking needs to be setting yourself and your child up for success when it comes to communication, potty training, stopping problem behaviors, and social skills. So what we teach in the program, and Stella's here so she can kind of chime in on this too, is that we do a lot of mindset work. And the reason we do that is because if we're starting to have like these bullshit thoughts, it's going to affect how we feel, and how we feel dictates the action or inaction we take to get the result we want. And knowing that your thinking can create your current emotions around your child's social skills, and knowing that emotions are creating the actions or inactions around your child's social skills, therefore, your thinking is actually creating the results we're all living right now. All thoughts are optional, and you get to choose your thinking to get new emotions, take new action to get new results. And I help parents in my group coaching program to think intentionally to get the results they want for their children with autism, period. That's job number one. And then job number two is let's get them those skills. For anyone here who's tried or failed at anything, you'll have repeated thoughts. You've been thinking about it for a while. For our kids, it could be the potty training, problem behaviors, communication, social skills, and that's okay. You've been defaulting to them because that is what the brain does. Our brains, I always say, our brains are not made to make us happy. They're made to keep us safe. Change is very scary to the brain. Possibility, hope is very scary to the brain. But now that we know we can think on purpose, we can think new thoughts to get these new results. And this is what we do. It's an example we do in the program. I'm going to let Stella explain it. It's called the T-line example, where we show you your thoughts. You tell us what emotion it's creating inside you, and then what action you're taking from that emotion. So Stella, you can I'm going to share the slides and you tell everybody what this is.
So when we're talking about this, the concept of a default T-line, guys, I kind of use this analogy of like, this is the sort of like stereotypical autism mom when they come into our program. So their default T-line is sort of thinking negatively, if you will. Like they're thinking that autism is cancer. They're thinking that their child's never going to speak, or that, you know, diapers for life is what's their destiny. And so they're having all these negative thoughts. And so what we're going to do is use an example here of a circumstance, which is a fact of life in a court of law. Everyone would agree that it's true. So for the example here, it's my child does not communicate outside of wants and needs. So that is the fact. So everyone, again, would agree in a court of law, this is true, okay? So the thought here, again, an autism mom coming into our program for the first time, this is the fact, and this is their thought coming up. So Michelle, go ahead and share that.
Sorry, there you go.
Okay. So the thought is, you can't teach social skills. So again, a default thought, of course they're thinking that, of course, this is what they're believing. It makes sense, guys. It makes a ton of sense. They're thinking this, my child can't communicate wants and needs, but that's it. My child does not communicate outside of wants and needs. That's it. So outside of that, no other social skills. Their thought is you can't teach social skills. They're feeling uncertain, hopeless, worried as a result of that thought. So when we think about the T-line, it's almost like a waterfall. So your thought generates a feeling generates your action. So when you're feeling uncertain, when you're feeling hopeless, when you're feeling worried, what action do you think you're going to be taking from that place? So with this default thought, what's happening is it's creating the action of they're trying to manipulate or avoid an environment to minimize the chance that the child will be bullied or not fit in. Okay. And what's the result? What's the result that happens here? There's no progress in developing social skills. Does everyone see that? Post in the chat. Does everyone see how that comes to fruition when your thought creates that result? If you're thinking, no, guess what? You can't teach social skills, then social skills is not the reality. Exactly. Yes, I see a ton of yeses in the chat. Love this. Yes, you can see
it works for anything. I could say my child can't potty train. I had somebody say this to me the other day. My child can't potty train because they don't speak. It's a bullshit. You gotta, when we say circumstance or fact and thought, we as individuals, not ever differentiating the two, believe thought is just as real as a fact, but that's not true. This is how Juliana told me she had to go to the bathroom. She was nonverbal when I taught her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not true but your brain gets you believing this and then feeling like that. Why are you ever going to potty train? If you feel like that the child needs to be verbal, there's no reason to even you feel hopeless. You feel like your hands are tied. And then the action you take is half-assed, or you don't even try at all. And that's the same thing that's happening here. And this is why social skills is up-level training, because nothing's going to trigger you more than watching your baby cry, see kids exclude them, seeing them not understand the situation. It's going to be really hard. But if I've done this work over years, right? I know that this is what's to be expected if we're going to learn this. And this thought that was here, this was mine. They told me at one of her evaluations that academically she was on par for her age. Socially, she was 1.5 years, 2 years behind. I totally freaked. And I'm like, well, I'll just put her in this bubble and I'll just, manipulate everything. And it's not realistic. I can't do it. It's not, I'm setting myself up for failure. It's not realistic. It's not whatever. I have to come to the realization that I have to look at this head on, that this is not serving her. I'm not always going to be there to put her in a protective bubble to avoid her getting bullied or avoid her, being in an environment she's not going to fit in. She's got to learn how to adapt like the rest of the world. Okay. So this is the knee-jerk reactions that I have when I see this happen, even to this day. And then I immediately have to go to, what do I want to think instead? What's going to help me to get out of my shit, get out of my funk, so I can be more intentional and show up for her in a more meaningful way. And here's the thing, the fact doesn't change. It's the same exact circumstance. My child does not communicate outside of wants and needs. What's the thought I could think that's going to make me believe that something different is possible, that I could teach her social skills? How's that thought going to make me feel? What kind of action am I going to take from that? And what kind of results am I going to get? Which in here, the desired result I want is my child developing social skills. And I thought back to this because this was a while ago. So I had to really think back to how I shifted this. And I said, I'm going to use the skills that got her the big three to teach social skills. And I'm going to show you that tonight. And when I felt that way, I was like, oh, I'm totally capable of doing this. I don't even know why I thought I wouldn't be able to. I could do this. It's going to be like I taught everything else. I've never done this before. I didn't learn social skills this way, but we're going to figure this out. And that made me feel capable. It made me feel motivated. Started cracking the books. We went to social stories, role play, throwing her into situations, knowing the outcome could be bad, and that's okay because this is a teachable moment. And the result was her social skills started to change and she started to have more awareness. And I'm going to go into some examples. I'm going to show you her talking so you can kind of see the progression of her.
But I want to interject, Michelle, if I may. Yes. Does everyone see how a change in a thought, something as simple as a thought change, can generate an entirely new result, an entirely new feeling, an entirely new action? You guys, this is not woo-woo. This is not woo-woo. This is proven. This is science. There is so much more research and neuroscience and NLP and every latest body of research is showing that the way the mind works and the way that the brain works is that we are able to change the way that we think, and it changes the way that our life responds. And if we as parents are able to help change our children, this is everything, guys. This is the missing link. This is what doctors aren't telling us. They're like, here, your child has autism. Here's a pamphlet. Figure it out. And of course you're feeling depressed. Of course you're feeling hopeless. You have no fucking clue what to do. Pardon my French. But this is what our program is for. This intentional mindset that Michelle has adopted. This is what we call champion mindset in the program. Every single week, I lead a call to help you to create this mindset. I led it this afternoon. I have plenty of parents come into my calls. This is what I do in the program to help you to think like this. Okay, go ahead, Michelle. Sorry.
I just want to say two things. Like whatever the mind believes, it'll like seek out and achieve. And that means good shit And it also means the bad shit. And this isn't my quote, but I'll never forget it. They said, like, the mind is like a furnace. It could either warm a house or burn it down. That's how powerful your beliefs about the diagnosis have on your child achieving any life skill you want for them. So that's why it's like, whoa, I gotta stop the presses. I'm the one that maybe, cock blocking this. I need to stop that shit. And I need to start thinking and working towards something that believing what's possible. In that video, I said, I didn't even know. I wanted to show up in a different way for her because I didn't want to like die thinking I just put my head in the couch cushions. I wanted to know that no matter what, I'm a God-fearing woman and I'm going to go to heaven one day and God's going to be like, did you show up as a mother? Which I always believe would be the most important job I'd ever take. And I don't want to say, well, I was up until the diagnosis and then I just fucking like checked out because I didn't sign up for that. And I did not want that to be what I said or how I felt. So for me, that was what it was. I had no idea that this was what we were going to get when I changed just that. And if you walk away with anything tonight, this is more important than any tactical I could ever share with you. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into social skills time. I'm going to tell you, this is a journey. And I want to say something here too. A mom wrote me this morning. She's like, I was trying to talk to somebody about this, and they're saying, you're teaching social skills to neurotypical kids, and there's really no difference. But I try to tell them that, because of autism, it is different. Maybe the application of the technique of how they absorb personality and social skills might be different, but it really isn't different. Because you're going to develop social skills and you're going to teach them to your neurotypical children. You're also going to teach them to your children with autism. The only difference between the two is when I fucking scapegoat to autism when shit doesn't go the way I think it should. And I see that all the time because I have a neurotypical son and I have a daughter on the spectrum and he has social challenges too. So a lot of the time, sometimes I'll just default to that. Like, this is just a part of parenting now. So that's why social skills isn't like a one and done. This is like an evolution over time because they're getting older now, right? So as they get older, new social interactions are going to change. And it isn't just going to be about playing games. It's going to be about real life shit. We just got a notice home that a classmate lost his father, and the social worker is going to come in and tell the kids before he comes back on Monday that his father died. These are the things that we have to be able to elevate to. That's why social skills is an ongoing second level training. Okay. And this is the fundamentals of communication and beyond. So the tools needed to teach social communication, we've got to be motivated. So if you want your child to go from just expressing wants and needs to doing next level conversation skills, we got to be able to motivate them to want to do it. Just like we did a reward system. A lot of times when we're teaching families in our program how to get our children to communicate wants and needs, the desire to use language or to use bridge form of communication is access to that item. So motivation is still key in teaching social skills. Modeling, showing the child what the behavior looks like, actually engaging in conversations so they can copy you is important. Prompting, telling the child to engage, just like potty training. First we tell them pee and poop, go here, then we have to tell them when to go. I used to have to cue Juliana to ask questions when family members came in or when a child came over for a play date. I reward the child for engaging in the behavior. Praise, high fives, getting really into it. We at first reinforce the attempt, even just an attempt, and then we work up to the target behavior. And this is just an example of like, if the kid wants bubbles, you say bubbles, then they repeat it, then they get the reward for saying the correct word. Then there's family. We want to make sure that once we teach a child to communicate with you, they can do it with anybody. Okay. And then we want it to be fun, right? We want to make this situation fun. If we want our kids to interact with social skills, it's got to make it fun for them. Who doesn't want things to be fun?
You want, show me
what I want to share with you here, and I'm going to speed through it a little bit, is this is the baseline. So you have to have what's shown here to get communications, to get social skills. And I'm going to fast forward through it so it's fast for you to see, but this is a general like a curve of watching Juliana go from nonverbal to sign language to word approximations to speaking. Okay. You want something to eat? Do you want to try do you want to do Cheerios? Want Cheerios? You don't want Cheerios. Okay. Do you want goldfish? You want goldfish?
Okay. You want a cookie? Is this what you want? All right.
This is us teaching her sign language. This is what we call in the program a bridge form of communication. So if your child isn't verbal yet, if they're pushing you to the pantry, if they're climbing up and just grabbing things they want, this is you giving them a bridge form. This is for a child that isn't making any vocalizations.
Do you want to watch Sophia the First? There you go. Okay. Do you want to watch Dora the Explorer?
This is me prompting her for a response.
Okay. Do you want to watch Team Umizoomi? Say yes.
Yeah.
Good girl. Good girl.
That's my number. Good job. I'm 3. Where's 3?
Find 3. Where's 3?
Up the scale.
Yeah.
Oh. What number?
Oh.
That's right.
4.
Find 4. And of course, 4 looks a little bit different, but you got it.
Yay.
Ah.
5. Find number 5. Yeah. Good girl.
Hey, kitties, where are you? Where are you?
Cheese.
Cheese.
Smile.
Smile, that's right.
We'll see how your kitties. Cody sounds like a purring kitty.
Matthew blue. Andrew yellow. Nina yellow. Jackson green.
This is what's called vocal stimming. This is the process from nonverbal to sign language to making sounds to prompting for the response.
Say cupcake. Eat the
Repeating vocal prompts, right? I'm telling her what to say.
cupcake. Say I did it.
Sure did. It's not like cupcake.
All right, one more. Eat one more. One more cupcake. She did it. Say I did it.
Is that delicious?
Say I did it.
And that's just us prompting her.
Okay. 1, 2.
We're making it fun.
What happens on Toy Story Mania? What does it do?
You get to shoot. It's like a little spinning thing, and then you like shoot guns with the little things on it. You would go like this, and then you shoot.
What makes it so fun?
Because you get to shoot a lot of it.
So these are just examples of this is just building the foundation of communication, right? If your child is pre-verbal, and they're not repeating, they're barely maybe just making sounds. We teach them bridge. Once they master bridge, we start to see vocalizations come out. We start to hear them repeating. Once they start repeating, we fade out the bridge and we start requesting vocal commands. And then we get it so that it's generalized. We fade the prompts for the vocal commands, and now anytime they want something, they can request it. Now, once they request it with you, we have to generalize the skill to everybody. That is the foundation of communication. Once you have that, then you can start on the social skills. And if you're struggling with any part of that, like if you're still not there and you're like, oh, well, he'll tell me he wants a cookie, but he won't tell anybody else, then these are the things that we work on in my program. We customize, we create a customized blueprint for each child, even though it's group coaching. It's group coaching for a reason, because I want you to hear me coach all the other parents. But when your name is called, then you get your blueprint for your child. It's 100% personalized. So if you're struggling with any of that, we're going to talk about that at the end of the program. So here we go. So we're going to talk about the social behaviors needed for successful social skills training. And this is what I wrote down because I've never done this before. So I said, all right, what would make her have what I would consider well-rounded social skills? The first one was having conversational skills. I want her to be able to do what she just did in that video, go back and forth and have a conversation with me. I want her to have friendships. I want her to make and keep two-way friendships with people, not just in our family, but outside of our family. That's huge. I want her to have interpersonal skills, and I want her to be an effective communicator. I want her to be able to share her thoughts clearly with others so that it's in an easy to understand way. I don't want her to go off on tangents or start vocal stimming. I want it to be clear what she's trying to say to anybody. I want conflict resolution. This is huge. We see this a lot with her brother and some of her friends. We get to the root of the problem and find a workable solution. We want to teach her to be flexible and compromise. I should have put that in there. We want to teach them to be active listeners that are paying close attention to the person who's communicating with them. That shows attention and respect to the other person and heightens and enhances the relationship. We want them to understand empathy, the ability to understand and identify with the feelings of another person. It builds stronger and more respectful, open relationships. We want her to have relationship management. Even though she can make friends, can she keep them, right? We want her to maintain healthy relationships, nurture the growth of the connection. And then we, of course, want her to have respect. We want to allowing others to speak without interrupting, not invading personal space. That was an issue for us for a while. Staying on topic, asking clear questions, and responding fully to any questions you've been asked. And this is just a quick example.
Joanna,
Yeah,
how was your day?
good.
What'd you do?
Now, this is an example of what you don't ask any child. So this is like, I get this a lot, like where like, oh, I ask them about their day and they don't really say anything. This is where I say like social skills training is the same for neurotypical children as well as children on the spectrum. We want to be able to ask very detailed questions. If you ask how was your day, they're just going to say the rogue response. So then what you'll see here is I asked her that on purpose because I knew she was going to give me just like, oh, fine. And then what did you do? In question, complete blank stare because they don't really know what to say. So then I lead it with something fun, making it fun, motivating her to want to respond.
Did anyone get in trouble today?
Oh, yes.
Who?
Sasha.
What did she do? Or what did he do?
This has to do with Lauren too, but Lauren has some other people.
Mm-hmm.
So basically everybody was last. So basically, there was a Southern meeting today, and we were doing a little Reader's Theater.
It doesn't really matter what she said. The idea here is you saw how in the beginning of the conversation went, how was your day? Fine. What'd you do? Blank stare. And then I was like, well, who got in trouble today? Oh, I can tell you exactly what happened, right? I'm engaging her in something that's like motivating, a little gossipy, I guess, but it's all right, right? The idea here is to get her moving, get her little communication wheels spinning, okay? So even children with autism who are highly verbal, especially kids like Juliana, have difficulty using effective language at times of high emotion and stress. It's important for us as parents to provide real life scenarios to trigger the true emotional response so we can teach in that moment. So with Juliana, when you're teaching communication, right, you're teaching tacting, you're showing them, labeling the things that they see, their senses, they hear, what they smell, what they taste, what they're looking at. It can involve another person, not just the child alone. And we use tacting in the beginning for general conversation starters, and that's known as labeling for what a child sees. So if I'm driving, I say, oh, wow, look at the fire truck. What color is it? See how it's like our kids are very visual learners. So if I've got a child that can express wants and needs or can label fire truck, I can say, oh, what's that? That's a fire truck. Oh, what color is it? Is it blue? Is it red? Right? I can start prompting them, even saying it's the wrong color just to get them to say the right color. It's concrete and visible in the moment. That's the first way we start to build out past expressing wants and needs. Look for something visual in the environment. Ask them if they see it. What color is it? Start asking questions, right? You could show photos or prevent physical items and teach the child to label the items once shown the visual. And this helps autistic children since most of the times the inferential thinking or coming up with ideas might not come easy for them. So if they have something in front of them, they can visualize it. And then the child sees an ice cream shop. The ice cream shop becomes a topic. Look, there's the ice cream shop. What flavor of ice cream do you like? Oh, I like vanilla. Do you like toppings on your ice cream? See how you can kind of go more in depth with it. You're going to hear like these conversations that I'm having with her are specific. Like I get really like detailed with her because if I just ask her like rogue questions, like how was your day? I get rogue responses. If I get like more detailed and I make it fun and we're both laughing and the energy changes and she's motivated to want to continue the conversation.
Okay, where are we headed? To school. And then what's after school?
Girl Scouts.
And why are we walking? Why aren't we just taking the car?
Because it's too close to the house.
And
to take the car. And it's wasting energy.
and
I have swim. I have swim.
no, because it's a nice day out, you nut.
Oh
So this is just an example, right? I'm very specific, very clean in the questions, okay? So manding, next thing is manding, requesting wants and needs is how we start teaching manding. A child is hungry, so they want a snack. You have a snack on the counter, out of their reach. The child says goldfish, you have the goldfish, you give them the goldfish. The child's highly preferred items are withheld and they have to request them in order to gain access. This is the foundation, right? You're teaching wants and needs here. This is a great starting point for children because it strictly relies on their motivation. You know what they want and need, right? So once we understand that, we have to generalize it. Once the child learns how to request from one person, they have to do it with everybody. If they can ask you for a snack, but they can't ask dad or grandma, how will that help them? That's why that has to be solid first before you move on to the social skills. At first, they might have to be learned behavior. You might have to prompt the child to go ask grandma for the snack. Eventually, the prompt should fade and reinforcement is natural since the child will be obtaining the wanted snack, which is the reinforcer. Manding for Juliana and how we did it in the context of first requesting wants and needs is we withhold everything. So everything is visible, not accessible. And basically she would have to, either bring me to it or start pointing to it. And then that's what I would prompt her for the vocalization. Items we had in her sight, but not within her reach, door puzzle, pieces, cookies, goldfish, information. Now I take it to the next level, right? I'm doing a little bit of intraverbal here. Hey, where are the puzzle pieces? And she's going to be like, they're there. Say, oh, is that there? Where's mommy? Where's daddy? Who's mommy? Who's daddy? One of the first games I ever played with her was the Guess Who game. And that's basically a game where you have like a tray of pictures that are like kind of tiles that are facing you, and she has the same pictures, and you both have a card, and the card represents your character, and you have to guess the other person's character first, and whoever guesses first wins the game. So she's got to ask questions, requesting information. Juliana had to ask the opponent self-identifying questions about the opponent's character in order to eliminate the characters to win the game, right? So now she's using vocalization. She's highly motivated because she loves to play games. The cards are colorful. She's got mommy's attention. There's just a huge payoff for her to want to interact with me. So she's got to say, mommy, does your person have red hair, right? And if I say yes, then she can shut down any tiles that don't have red hair, right? It's really like, it was such a great way to get her talking more is playing board games. And intraverbals are exactly what a conversation consists of. You ask what the color is of sky, the other one says it's blue. We start running. What I did with her is I just went through a bunch of questions, and I'm usually, in the question, I would use a word that I knew she knew, like what color is the goldfish, right? Because she eats goldfish. How many Oreos are in the plate? You see what I'm saying? These are things that are high preferred for her, that she likes talking about, that when she hears it, it automatically triggers like a connection in her brain, right? When children go through interverbal training, the therapist or parent asks the questions and the child answers. This repeats until specified targets are mastered, which could take some time depending on the child's functional level. Eventually, the child is trained to initiate conversations once they're able to answer the questions. This helps to create a back and forth flow between the initiator and the conversation partner. And here's a good example.
I want to ask you about feeling emotions, like feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling sick. What does happy look like?
This.
It looks like that, but what does it look like inside? Well, give me some examples of things that are happy.
When I win a game.
When you win a game. What else?
When I'm off from school.
When you're off from school. What else? What makes you happy?
When we go to fun places.
When we go to fun places. What makes you sad? I'm really curious. What would make you sad? What is sad? Is sad a good emotion?
It's very interesting because even in this conversation, sad is not a motivator. She doesn't really want to talk about things that make her sad, right? She wants to talk about things that excite her. She wants to talk about things that make her happy.
All right. How about a different one? Is sad a hard emotion for you to think about?
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't like it?
I just can't think of anything.
All right, what about mad?
Oh, I know.
You know mad.
When Harrison messes with my stuff.
Oh my goodness. What else?
Tiffany messes up my room.
Oh my gosh, Tiffany too? What else makes you mad?
And when Harrison
Mad you got on lock. You know mad.
And when
people mess with your stuff.
Tiffany, and Harrison and Tiffany like all the little kids make messes in the playroom.
And you have to clean it up.
Yeah, it's so not fair.
That's not fair. That makes you mad. All right, so we got happy and we got mad. You can't think of anything that would make you sad? now that you thought of happy and mad?
So this is just a general example of like next level conversation, right? And I could tell like we skipped over sad because it wasn't motivating enough for her to want to talk about it. Maybe it made her feel bad. Now there wasn't anything that was like interesting there for her to want to keep the conversation. But when I say what about mad, oh, there's tons of things I could think about. I'm so passionate about, right? There's passion behind it. That's the kind of that's how you want to kind of direct the conversations to get your child conversing more.
I want to.
Okay, so interverbals generalize. Once a child learns to answer specific targets with a therapist, mom or dad, the child is then taught to generalize these skills with other conversational partners, right? They have their person that they're going to do a lot of their conversation learning training with, and then we're going to have other people ask questions and have conversations with them. Juliana learned through playing games. She learned a ton of interverbals through playing games. We have something called social skills bingo. That child answers social skills questions. If you walk into the classroom for the first time, what can you say to your teacher? Questions during dinner. We do this. Everyone picks a question from a pool of questions, and we pick one person to ask them that question. We do turn-taking games. Whose turn is it? Juliana would respond, it's my turn. She's very competitive, so games will always work really well with her because it handles the socialization, conversational part, but it also handles emotions because she can get really angry when she loses. She can get really angry when her brother wins. She can get boasty, like when she's winning, like where it may make other people feel bad. There's just so many opportunities during turn-taking games that we can really work on social skills in the moment. That's like real on the job type like education here. And then there's the headband game. You pick a word, you put it on your forehead, and the other players have to give the person holding the card on their head the clues to guess the word written without saying the words. Things like that. All right, strategies for effective inclusion programs. Now I'm going to talk about this really quickly. The reason why I'm going to talk about this is because a lot of you have beliefs that school should be teaching our kids this, and it's not the way it works. So what I want you to understand here is that, listen, I want the foundation to be built in your home. Then I want you to start building that out into the community. And we're going to talk about some examples of that next. And then we can start telling school what we need from them. But the foundations have to come from you. We can't rely on school to teach us, even though school is frustrating for me because I need school so much right now to be on board with helping me fine-tune the dials of her social skills because she has so many opportunities to have real life social issues at school. There's so many peers there, different peers, preferred and non-preferred, right? The context or activities in which integration occurs must be chosen carefully. I know this is another thing too about inclusion. We all want this for our children. I have two schools of thought. There's two types of parents, right? There's parents who believe that the world should bend to the special needs of their individual child. That was my knee-jerk thought from earlier tonight, right? I'm just going to manipulate the environment. The environment needs to bend for where Juliana's at. And then there's the other school of thought, like, no, life is unfair. Life has lots of people and environments, and she's got to adapt to, I've got to teach her how to adapt to as many of these as possible. Which belief is going to best serve you and your child in the long run? Okay? And I've had this before. Like, so people think that they're going to get our children in an inclusion program, push the children into a gen ed environment when A, they're not ready, B, they expect the world to all like just cater to the needs of the child. It's just not realistic. We want to do everything we can to get the child up to speed. So when they hit that environment, they're as close to being on par as possible. If we want to use, I always like to think about any type of classroom environment where we want the child to be in the middle of the room. So there's a bunch of peers that are above them. There's a bunch of peers below them, and they're in the middle. So there's always somebody for them to learn from. We never want them to be the peer role model in any classroom. Okay. So we want to have positive attitudes towards individuals with disabilities. I get that. We want it, and I think the world has done a really good job of that. Bullying, with zero tolerance bullying in our school district, in a lot of school districts. And I think that they've done a great job with that. But I think, kids are going to do shit. They're good. They're cruel. They're going to find ways to get their jabs in. And like teachers and parents, other family members, children need to be taught that a disability is one, but not necessarily the most important characteristic of a child. I believe that all of this is important, but I believe it's even more important to get your child as adaptable to all different types of situations, how to handle if somebody's being mean to them, how to handle if somebody's peer pressuring them. That's more valuable to me than trying to educate the universe on how they should just, bend to my child. Okay? This is
These
just her
are meant
talking
to
again.
come through seeds and
I'm gonna bust through this. Hold on, let me just bust through this because I want to get to Q&A tonight. Okay, so all right, so let's go here. How to trigger real life scenarios. This is where it gets interesting. Juliana can tell you what to do in structured settings. She's in a social skills class in her school. Her social skills class is to teach her about feelings, self-regulation, what to do. They throw out like all these crazy scenarios. What if your friend tells you to cheat on a test? What would you do? She knows exactly what to say, right? So they'll do social stories, role play, ask and answer sessions describing various different social situations. She'll get it right every time. I could give her an example and she'd know intellectually how to respond. But in the moment, she jams up, she freezes, and she produces thought errors. And when that happens, it's very triggering for me because I'm like, oh my God, my baby, she's upset. Oh, she didn't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. What do we do, right? That's why it's important for me to deliberately shake her tree, to put her in social situations that will heighten her emotions and produce verbal thought errors so we can address them as they come up. And I'm gonna give you some examples of that. And this means I'm intentionally setting her up to fail. And one of the examples I'm telling, that I tell all the parents about is last year when she's in intermediate school now. They do primary K-2, then intermediates 3, 4, and 5 before middle school. And there was a vote for a student representative for the class. And she was in a classroom with kids that she did not know. And I knew that if she volunteered, she would lose. I knew it. I said, you're going to volunteer for that. Well, I don't really want it. Well, you're going to volunteer for it. So we wrote out her little speech. She started to get into it. Once we started writing out her little speech, how she was going to represent the class and you know, do a good job and take notes at the meeting and bring it back to the class. And then she presented it. And that day she came home and she was crying. And I felt like a dick. I felt awful, right? Because I'm thinking in my head, like, I just did this to her. She's coming home crying because she lost. And she came to me and she said, Mommy, you need to write my teacher an email and tell her she has bad students. And I remember just like, stay calm. I remember I have to remind myself why I did this in the first place. Like, stay calm, stay calm. Oh, everything's okay. It's all right if you lost. Like, there's so many lessons to be learned in this moment. And I said, why do you think that they're bad students? You need to tell her they're bad students. Like, this is what happens. Like, she gets jammed up, thought error, tears are rolling down her face. But these are the moments. These are the teachable moments. And this is the big fucking leagues. Because if you're going to do this, you have to be emotionally, mentally ready for it. So I kind of calmed down myself. My heart's racing. I see her crying. I feel bad. I'm thinking, did I make a mistake? And I sit her down and I say, listen, this is what happened. They're not bad kids. They just didn't know you. And maybe they knew these other kids. And we talked through it. And she got over it and she felt fine. And this year she applied again. I made her apply again. She lost again, but she took it much differently. Do you see what I'm saying? So I have to put her in positions where I know she may fail. So we had another scenario. One of the best ways to trigger real life scenarios is to open your home like it's the indoor gymnastics playroom. I have play dates here every week. I've made peace with the idea that I will never have a house that looks like a museum. I have children running around here constantly for the betterment of Juliana. When COVID happened, I went underground with other families who agreed to do the same, caught COVID twice because it was too valuable for her not to still have interactions with children than to be locked in a cave for those 3 years. And we paid the price. We got COVID a few times, whatever the case may be. But the idea here is that this is huge. I even invite kids over that I know she doesn't really like that much. I invite kids over that are kind of bullyish. Because I can hear the interaction, we can intervene, we can help cope it, help her how to strategize, advocating for herself in those moments, right? These are the ways you trigger real life scenarios. I remember I drop and go to a birthday party, not knowing whether or not sometimes she surprised me and she does harm. Sometimes I get the call, I go, I don't know if Juliana's having a good time, whatever the case may be, but these are the opportunities when I do this intentionally. It's funny, right? Because the knee-jerk thought is like, you can't teach social skills and I'm going to retreat. And I would protect my child from all of these things, which would in general limit their exposure to having better social skills. Or you could do what I'm doing is intentionally throwing her to the wolves, right? Knowing that I have to have those real life scenarios because in a structured setting with me role playing with her, she knows the answer. But when she's in the moment, she's jammed up, that's when I got her. That's when I can teach her so that she can handle these situations better and better and better as they go. So she's got to take some hits. She's got to take a lot of hits. And this is hard for me. It's hard for her. It's hard for her father. Why would you send her in to do that? Blah, blah, blah. You know, you get it all over. But I'm so like at this point in the game for me, as an autism mom, I'm so focused. I have like this protective bubble over my shit that when anyone has like whatever, it just bounces off me. I am so focused on her being the best version of herself, getting it as strong a socialization as possible, that nothing anyone could say is going to deter me. I may get a little shaky, but nothing's going to deter me. Okay. So here's some examples of real life scenarios. I drop and go at a birthday party. I make her volunteer for class representative, knowing she would lose. Hosting thousands of play dates, even picking challenging kids to come over, sharing sensitive stories and talking through emotionally charged events, putting her in peer pressure scenarios, putting her in a trio when she's the odd girl out. I've done that a few times. From the outside, you probably think I'm a total asshole, but this is how it's built. This is the only way I know. She has to be thrown in. Okay, and social skills is a year-long process. We continue on this path of fine-tuning the dials. That's what I call it now for Juliana. We have to respect true personality and with pushing her limits. So this is the thing. Guess what? Juliana is naturally shy. So this is a hoot, right? So I'm pushing her to do this shit. She has to look at the waitress, make eye contact, tell her exactly what she wants on the menu. She's got to say it loud, right? I have to respect that this is her personality, but also know when to push and when not to push. And sometimes I make a mistake, right? Sometimes I go a little too far. But if I don't do it, if I don't attempt it, then we'll never know, right? As she grows, age-appropriate challenges will still come up. That's why social skills is a years-long process. And this is the job for any parent, period. Ours is just a step-by-step approach, which, you know what, any child could benefit from. Cody gets the benefit of everything we do with Juliana and vice versa. Okay, so this is just a little roundup for her.
Hi, Erin. Hi, Eli. This is Juliana. My mom wanted to say hi to you guys. Have a great summer. Hi, Erin.
That's our little Juliana in a nutshell. All right, so we're about to get into Q&A, but I want to tell you more about the masterclass. I'm getting a lot of questions in the Q&A. Want to know more information on the masterclass? I believe we already had 2 people sign up, which is exciting. We're excited to have every new mom and caregiver, grandparent, dad. We've had them all. So I want to talk to you about what we do on the daily. I run a group coaching program for parents of children with autism. And I want to think about, like, when I was in the throes of this and she was diagnosed, I remember searching Google thinking, like, I need to find somebody to help me. I need somebody who can guide me and tell me what the steps I could take, right? Because what I wanted for my child is I wanted to be able to speak and I wanted to hear her voice. I wanted a child who could use the bathroom and not be in diapers for her whole life. I wanted a child that didn't tantrum or get aggressive with me or others. I wanted to have a deep relationship with my child who could share their thoughts and dreams with me. I want my child to be able to go to any school, extracurricular activity, camps without the autism diagnosis making it impossible. I want to be able to drop and go at a birthday party or a sleepover. I want us all to be able to go on a vacation and have fun as a family. I want us to enjoy holidays, parties with families and friends without having to hover over her or explain away my child's behaviors. I want to know that when I'm gone, my child can be independent. I want my child to have a strong connection with siblings and family. And what I wanted for myself is I wanted an unbreakable connection with my child. I wanted peace with this diagnosis. I don't want to believe that autism is a death sentence anymore. I want to feel it in my bones that I didn't fail my child. I want to know that I left no stone unturned for her. I want to know that my children will remember their childhood and say, Mommy gave me an amazing childhood. I live every day knowing that if I died tomorrow, I gave 110% today and I have no regrets. I want to know that I'm raising a happy, healthy, self-regulated children that can grow into happy adults. And this is what the masterclass is all about. My program is a 3-month group coaching program with guaranteed results. And what you get when you join is lifetime access to our self-study vault. I created tons of courses like this: social skills, problem behaviors, getting rid of the iPad or using the iPad as a tool versus feeling like you're a slave to it, teaching them how to eat more food, stop eloping, potty training, get them talking. You have lifetime access to this if you join our program. You have 3 to 4 weekly live group coaching calls, and you learn from the experts. Stella's here. She's going to get your mind right. If you're feeling really way off about this diagnosis, you believe it's impossible to do these things, she's going to show you how it's possible. I'm going to be hosting a call once a week. You're going to get my experience. I've lived the life you're living now. I've lived it in the shit and I've lived it in the glory. And I want you to taste what I live day to day now. Autism isn't in my thoughts every minute of every day anymore. We also have a board certified behavior analyst call. You get to learn. They are like teachers with master's degrees that I believe speak the fluent language of our children, which is behavior. We can learn how to modify and get the behaviors we want and stop the behaviors we don't want. And in addition to that, we also have specialist calls, and everyone gets their questions answered. It's group on purpose because I want you to hear that you are not alone anymore. And there are other families that are going through this, not just going through this, but they want to change their lives. They want to change the lives of their children. And when it's your turn, you get your questions answered. We create a customized blueprint for where you're at. And every week we work and tweak and make progress for you every single week. In addition to that, we have monthly specialist call. We have a registered dietitian. I believe there's a connection between gut health and cognitive abilities. You'll get to talk to her once a month. And we have a speech language pathologist who's also a parent of a child with autism. So is a dietitian. And one of our BCBAs, I call him a trifecta because he's male, he's a BCBA, and he's an adult with autism who did not speak till the age of 7, who never had the opportunity to have ABA in his life when he was a child because they couldn't afford it. He is married. You would not know he had autism. This is what's potentially possible for your child, but you got to act now. In addition to this, you get our community in between calls because support is so important to me. I don't want you to come into this program and feel like you don't have somebody to answer your questions as they come up. If you have questions in between calls, you get in that community, you tag a coach, and we're going to answer it for you. Or you can email me. I know everybody in that program. You could send me your IEP. You could tell me what's going on for you. You could tell me about your struggles, your pains. We're here to support you. You're not going to be alone doing this anymore. You're going to have experts in your corner to help you get the big 3, to help you work on social skills for your child. Every child on the spectrum is unique, and your program should be flexible and bend enough to meet the uniqueness with personalized strategies, and that's what this program brings you. You'll learn that potty training is 100% possible, that your child doesn't need to be verbal or mildly autistic to potty train. You're going to feel confident as a parent like you were before the diagnosis came because you'll be fluent in their language of behavior. We have a 100% success rate for potty training. We have a 100% success rate for communication skills. You'll start to reconnect to your child because communication is finally in place. And we're going to get to the root level of your child's problem behaviors and treat it, not just treat the symptoms. We figure out the cause from the root so these behaviors happen minimally to never at all. And we're going to teach you how to live your life again, how to show up at an IEP meeting, a holiday party, plan a vacation, and be a family. And when life happens, we're going to help you get back on track. If a regression happens, we will tell you exactly how to handle it. And we're going to learn from trial and error rather than quitting on our kids. Because the only true fail of any parent is quitting. We're never failing, really. Somebody asked me, like, are there anything you've tried that hasn't worked? Oh, fucking tons. But I don't consider that a problem. I'm either learning or winning. The only true fail for me is just quitting. We're going to teach you how to build that champion mindset so you no longer have to worry about autism every minute of every day, and you'll get your independence back too. And we guarantee results in this program. And if you sign up today, we have a special bonus. If you sign up by tonight, midnight Eastern Standard Time for today only, we're going to do 2 special bonuses. This is worth $2,000. You're going to get 2 private sessions with me and 2 private sessions with one of our BCBAs. So if you join my group program, you're going to get 2 sessions off the bat with me, 2 sessions with the BCBA. You're going to hit the ground running before the first group call. And another bonus, if you sign up tonight by by midnight Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get 5 months in the program. That's not 3. I did the math on this. That's over 60 calls, 60 plus calls that you're going to be able to get full on support to help your baby. And our guarantee is the best ever. If after 90 days you don't get the results you came for, you stay in the program till you do, or I'll give you your money back. That's how solid I am in how we support families. And that's how solid I am in the results that we've got for the families that are here. I know some of my masterclass moms are in here. They could tell you themselves how much their lives have changed just by joining this. And for today only, the program is $19.97, or you can do 3 payments of $7.15 or 4 payments of $5.50. And that's only $14 a day, 60 plus calls to change your lives. Okay. All bonuses are going to go away after midnight. Jen's going to put the link in the chat box to join. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Okay. And if you're thinking, I don't know if now is a good time for children on the spectrum, I consider it currency. I consider it like money. And we can't afford to waste a minute not being strategic in how we're spending it to up-level our kids. There will never be a perfect time. We help you create the time and use the time you already have more effectively. One of our moms is a mother of triplets. One of our moms is a mother of 5. They can make the time and see progress, get their kids potty trained, get their kids communicating. You can do it too. It's the worst to feel like all your time is full up and nothing is left for the things you want for yourself. If you don't have time now, it takes even longer to get these skills for your baby on your own. And if you're thinking, can I afford to spend the money on this? What is it costing you to not get your baby the big 3 now? What is it costing you in diapers and wipes, your time, your mental health? What is it costing your family? What educational opportunities or activities are your child missing out on? What is it costing them? Can you afford to pay this price any longer? Or if you're thinking, I've failed so many times, how will this be different? You already know you aren't getting the results you want on your own. This is the worst it's getting. Getting started now is the only way to actually get closer to getting what you want. We work with you and your baby to win, and we don't quit. Make this time different. I want to talk about one last thing, and this is the unicorn syndrome. I get this every time I run a workshop. I understand everything you're saying, but Juliana's just different than my child. My child has severe autism. This works for other kids, but it won't work for mine. My child is broken. I'm broken. There's nothing out there that'll change the trajectory for my child. Unicorn syndrome is a self-preservation state. If I stay here, I never put myself out there to have these hopes and dreams for my baby. And when that doesn't happen, I can't be hurt. Subconsciously, I can't risk trying and failing because I won't survive it. There is no fail here. Not moving forward because of this, that's the fail. All right. Sitting and I don't know, or asking shitty questions and no real answers keeps you stuck and not taking action to help your baby now. It's the reason why you should join so you can get out of the stuck. Indecision is keeping you guessing and losing precious time that you could be making progress. Nothing comes from I don't know or bullshit questions you can't answer. Just decide. Decide you're not ready and you won't do the work, or decide you're nervous but you're willing to go for it. That you trust what I've already shared with you, what Stella's shared with you, and what you're about to hear from these moms that already work with me. Give yourself the gift of the decision. Honor yourself and your child right now. If this worry is dominating your day and night, then join us. If there's something in you that identifies with what we've taught you today, and it makes sense, take the leap of faith and join us. Saying yes will have you and your baby moving forward today. And this is for today only. All bonuses, $2,000 worth of bonuses, 2 privates with me, 2 privates with the BCBA. They end tonight at midnight. Join now. Click the link in the chat box to enroll. All right, so we're just going to grab a quick water.
So I guess I wanted to start asking you.
I'm just going to grab a quick water, and then I'm going to share this with you, and then we're going to get right into Q&A. We're going to do a giveaway, and then we're going to get into Q&A.
What were your biggest struggles prior to joining the program?
I was going around and I was looking for help.
So I started looking up online, and I really need somebody who's been through.
There's no access to any kind of services over here in Ireland, Googling stuff and trying to find something.
I joined because I have a 3-year-old autistic son, so I knew I had to do something that I didn't know
what to do.
Everything seemed to be waitlisted or just not available. To break it down to him, I had to have somebody break it down to me.
And that really got me worried. It got my husband worried and thinking, okay, we need to speak to PD.
I think my biggest struggle was understanding their potential.
I actually didn't know, like I was kind of relying on just the speech therapist.
I came in just feeling very helpless, very confused.
What can I do now that I haven't already done? You know, what would be the harm? What can I lose?
Before participating, we weren't making as much progress. It was slow progress.
I believe that I found you on Instagram.
She is very turned off by a lot of doctors and therapists and things.
I went back and forth and I'm like, okay, she's going to start ABA therapy on this day. And I told them that was my number one goal.
As everyone would be, I was a little skeptical because of how many times I have tried with Alexander.
On one end, I'm hearing, okay, she's, autistic and, you qualify for a lot of services. And when I go and try to inquire about, we can't service her.
All right. So now, I guess, where are you now? You and your child, now that you've joined the program?
They're doing really, really well. Doing really, really well. I think their ABA program here is wonderful. We got very lucky with that.
One word here or there, what it was that he wanted, but not necessarily saying I want it would be apple or this or that. And that has totally blossomed. And now following like what the BCBA said, which is starting really small.
Okay, so where I am now is where I kind of know that I'm in charge.
The changes in him in less than 2 months, I think I've been like 6 weeks, are miraculous. The behaviors are decreased. The stimming has decreased. The listening to directions has increased. The language has increased.
I just, set those goals for myself and cross them off and once I did that for me, turn my focus 100% and then I was able to get the work done.
You helped me formulate the confidence in myself to realize I'm ready to really go for it. I would not have gotten through it. It went so much better than I ever could have imagined.
I started listening to the tips from Michelle.
He's doing so much better. More eye contact for sure. We're working on talking, on saying some words.
Yeah, it went really well. The tips you guys gave me.
It doesn't seem like this big impossible thing.
I just been given something so precious.
He's more verbal, right direction, and I'm so happy to be part of this group.
We never in a million years thought that it would happen this early. He's making a lot more sounds. He's now at that point where he's no longer frustrated since you and all of the teachers have given me all of the ideas and the strategies.
We all want our children to succeed, and it's just been wonderful.
Would you recommend our program to any moms or dads that are going through this right now?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would definitely prefer anyone to this.
Yes, definitely. You guys need to do this program. It'll change you guys and your child's life tremendously.
100%. I do recommend it. You learn something new.
I would definitely suggest to go through this program for at least first 4 to 6 months.
This program has allowed that, and I'm really grateful for that.
Take this course, do the one-on-ones, listen and absorb everything that this team has to offer.
You guys have a gift, and you're sharing it, and that's amazing.
So I will recommend you to anybody, whoever's out there.
It's been really great. It's been very great. And
this is going to help you. You can learn through other parents' experiences.
Just do it. Don't hold back. Just go all in with your daughter or your son. And I promise you will definitely see results.
Okay, we are going to get to giving away some stuff now. All right, hold on one second here. And I just want to talk. I see some questions and comments in here. We have a couple moms that enrolled. So welcome to the family, everybody. Okay, so here's a couple of things I want to address. That yes, is this an investment? Let me just stop my share here. Yes, is this an investment? It is. But I want you to think about something. I want you to think on a scale from 1 to 10, how motivated are you to help your child get the big 3? or get social skills? And you can put that in the chat, right? How motivated, how motivated are you in belief that this program, that my experience, that Stella's support, that our BCBAs, one of them is an adult with autism who's told he would never speak, could help your child elevate? This is the thing. When I was looking for somebody, when Juliana was diagnosed, I started Googling like advocacy or somebody who could help me, tell me what to do to help her move forward. I had no idea what to do. I had in my mind, I said, what would I pay for this? And that back then we had like no money, no expendable income, whatever the case you want to call it, right? And I said, what would I pay for this? And I was like thinking in my head, like if I believed that this person could help me and help her and elevate us, I would pay like $5,000. I'm gonna just throw up a number. And then I thought in my head, well, what if it was 10 or 20? I said, oh, I'm gonna find a way. Now I understand that this is an investment, but if there was something out there that I believe was going to help my child to move forward, money would not be the reason that it didn't happen. I could get resourceful. I can get creative. My moms have shown me how creative they can be. I've had moms use HSA plans to pay for the program. I've had moms do GoFundMe's to pay for the program. You are more resourceful than you think you are. And if you really believe there's something out there that can help your child, and this program is one of them, money is not going to be the reason that I don't get this. Money's not going to be the reason that I don't get my kid potty trained or get my child communicating. And this is what we do here. Okay, all right, so let's get to it. So let's do some giveaways. We're going to do Wheel of Names. Jen, do you have it queued up or no? We're going to queue up a Wheel of Names. We're going to give away 2 prizes. One is going to be a private session with me, and one's going to be a private session with Stella. So let's do it. Oh, she's already got it queued up. All right, everybody, let's get it going. And you're going to get to talk to us. We're going to talk to us a complimentary coaching call, one with me, one with Stella. Let's get it rolling. Dana Tillman, you are our first winner. And we have you are our first winner. Just email info@michellebrodgers.com and we'll set up your free session. Congratulations. Let's do another one. Do another one for us, Jen. We'll do one for Stella and one for me.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And well, you know what? I'm going to get you both social bingo. Let me write that down. I'm going to send you both social bingo. So make sure that you send me your address. We'll send you social bingo and you'll get a free coaching session with me. Who's our next winner? Michelle Collins. Michelle. How fitting. All right, excellent. So social skills bingo, I'm going to send you guys, and we're going to give you 1 private session. Email info@MichelleBRodgers, and we'll get that out to you. All right, who wants some coaching today? It can be on anything. Ideally, I mean, social skills would be great. We're talking about social skills tonight. If you want to do social skills, you need the big 3. And I'm going to tell you that on if we talk, but if you need help with something else, I'm all ears. We're going to take Sandra first. So Sandra, here you go. While she's getting ready, it says, this is from Paula. My granddaughter screams. Sometimes it's because she's in a bad mood. Other times it's because something is going on. She doesn't like it. She's now learning to be vocal. My daughter and the rest of us tell her to use her words. She will when mom tells her to, but the rest of us, she doesn't. But she gets out of handing with screaming. So you already know the answer of what I'm going to say here, Paula, right? First, she's learned to request verbally from mom. So she needs to be able to do that with everybody. And obviously, if she's screaming with everyone else, that's worked for her, right? So we have to let her kind of scream so that she knows that that's not going to work for her anymore. So we got to prompt her to give you a vocal response, or she doesn't get whatever it is that she's trying to access with screaming. Okay, Sandra, you ready? You got to unmute yourself, Sandra. Sandra. Going once. Going twice. The special gift for everyone who showed up tonight, we're going to be creating a guide, a social skills guide. You guys will all get that. And you all get my Autism Mommy Survival Guide to Problem Behaviors. So you'll get the problem behavior guide first because we already have that created. The other guide I will send to everyone here once we have it done. All right, Sandra, I'm going to put you back in the pool, and then I will pick Courtney next. Courtney, here you come. Unmute yourself. Let me know what's going on. This is from Cecilia. My son is 4 years old, nonverbal and IEP program. Do you think it's better for him to go to general class? Will help him talk and also improve in social skills, or is it better to continue in the IEP program? It would be IEP program, but I would also be looking at what I could be doing at home. He spends the majority of his time at home. Yes, he spends time at school, but if you want his communication skills to move forward, we need to start taking action with this now at home. And if he makes no sounds, he doesn't repeat, I would be implementing a bridge form of communication and get it fluent. That could be PECS, sign language, or a communication device. All right, and could Courtney not? All right, we're gonna pick another person. Masterwall, I don't know if we're having problems tonight or what. Masterwall, I'm gonna promote you to panelist. So basically your screen's gonna flicker and then you're gonna come up as a panelist. Oh, Michelle Collins said she could hear me, perfect. All right, you know what, I'm just gonna try and allow people to talk from where they are. Courtney, are you there, Courtney? Really struggling here. Courtney, can you unmute? Courtney Coyne. I don't know if we're having technical issues tonight. This is the best part of the night, is to be able to coach everybody. All right, I'm going to try another person. We're going to keep going until somebody can unmute. Fernicola. I don't know if we're having technical issues or what the story is tonight.
Jen, can you just check on that? Do you mind?
I don't know what she could do though.
Okay.
All right, Fernicola.
She just said there's not anywhere to mute or unmute or see anyone on screen other than you and Stella.
There should be a mute and unmute in the top, in the lower left. Can anyone see that in the lower left? No, it should only be, the only people that should be able to see it is Fernicola. Fernicola, can you unmute?
Yeah, they're saying no.
Fernicola saying that too, because she's the
They're
only.
all saying no. Nothing's there. Just a hand raise.
Hi, Fernicola. Hi, there we go. You can only unmute Stella if they've been promoted to panelist. So they're not gonna see it.
You don't see me though, right? Okay.
No, I don't see you.
Okay. So I'm not a parent. I'm a registered behavior technician, but I love your page and everything, and I want to.
Oh.
So I really love all you guys. You guys are such wonderful people. Anybody that has someone that has a kid on the spectrum, you guys are awesome. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. Oh, it was great talking to you.
I do have a question though.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Tell me what your question is.
So it's a potty training question, because that's what really interests me when I was and I'm still following you, but I'm following you on Instagram. So I do, where I work, potty train a preschooler, and I feel like how the things that I've seen you talk about and things like that with either newsletter or Instagram, correct me if I'm wrong, what exactly I was reading or listening to, but you seem to get the job done. But I feel like things are just taking like longer, and then it's just like they're using the little potty, but then it's just like, when are they going to just use the big potty and go to that level?
All right, so is this child eliminating on the little potty?
Yeah, eliminating on little potty, great, gets a reward. Oh, urinated, gets a reward, goes every half an hour, just doing great. But like, when's like, then how does this go on to the next step? I mean, it can't be years that this is going to be like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next step is, are they using the little potty at home too?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So mom and dad at home are doing the same thing you're doing at school.
Yeah. It's a center. I'm an ABA.
Okay. Got it. So the next step would be to get her to go on a big potty. Is that what you want to do, or what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what is the next step? Is it to lengthen the time, or put her on a bigger potty, or let accidents happen because they're not happening now for the most part?
So if she's being taken every 30 minutes and having 80% or better days, then it's time to widen the window. If you don't care where she's peeing right now, whether it be the little seat or the big seat, then just keep it where it's working. And then you're just going to start widening the window. So let's try it every 45 minutes, every hour. You want her to have the feeling of nature call.
Right.
If we're taking her every 30 minutes, we're not letting her have the opportunity to feel the sensation that, oh, I have to go pee.
Right. So you kind of have to make it longer. So then she will have that sensation, have the accidents, but then it'll even out.
Yes, exactly. She may take a little dip, but then she'll come back, or she may not at all. She may surprise you. She may say, I feel it. I know what this feels like. And I just go.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And then when you're ready, what I could do at the same time with no pressure is just have her touch the big girl potty, have her sit on it with no expectation of elimination, just to make sure she's like neutral to it. So when it's time to transition, she can transition and it'll be pretty easy.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Keep me posted.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right, who's next? We're gonna do I'm gonna try Master Wall again. Let's see. Nasty Wall. I hope I'm doing this right. Let's see. All right, here. Hi. All you have to do in the lower left hand should be a place to unmute yourself. Ask you to unmute. There you are.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
My English is not good and I scared to talk. That's why I didn't unmute first.
Oh. Okay, well, how can I help you today?
My son is 6 and he's non-verbal. He's going ABA. He's potty trained like half, you know. When I sent him ABA center, he didn't do like underwear, pull up. He go with underwear and pants.
Okay.
At home too, but I take him somewhere else like church or like grocery. I have to put diaper because he make accidents. For
Okay.
number 2, he don't want to do number 2 in bathroom.
Okay.
And I don't know what can I do. The ABA center, they told me he's good to do everything there. You know, they take him every 1.5 hours and no accident. At home too, but I take him somewhere else every time he make accident. When we go out, he do number 2 or something, accident happen. I don't know what can I do, or I need to, I know he can do, but I don't know what can I do.
Okay, got it. So just to get clean data, that's a big part of what I do when I start talking to parents, is I want to get clear data from you. I want to know what is actually happening and where it's happening and all that jazz. So you said that the ABA center says he has no accidents.
No accidents now, yeah.
That he pees and poops on the potty there, or he just pees?
No, he didn't poop in the ABA center. I think he hold and he...
Okay, got it. So that makes sense, right? Because we got to be really clean on our data, because she's saying like, oh, he's doing everything right at the ABA center, where most of the times our kids will not poop outside of the home or outside of a diaper, right? So at the ABA center, they've had success with pee, and we want to get real clear on that. So if you're not sure, we want to ask him that. That's number 1. Number 2, is he standing to pee?
No.
He's sitting to pee?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's good. Now, what does he get as a reward for going?
In the ABA center, they told me they open music. He like Disney music, they open music. When home, I try to the music, he don't want the music, but I try to give him chocolates, but I don't think I'm doing the right way. I need to do.
Okay. So at home, will he pee on the potty? Will he have accidents all the time, or he'll have some successes?
Yeah, he do, but I have to take him. He didn't ask.
Yeah, that's okay. He's still like in the throes of potty training, so you still have to tell them when to go. Everyone thinks that this part makes it different, and it's not. This is the process for all children. First, you tell them pee and poop go here, and then you have to tell them when to go. So that part's fine. So if you tell him when to go, will he go?
Sometimes he refuse. I force him to go and he pee, but most of the time he go. I say pee, let's go pee. He stand up and following me. We go to bathroom. Sometimes he take off his pants by himself. He flush. Sometimes he refuse. He don't want to do anything.
Okay.
He pee and run away.
All right, perfect. So the first thing we want to do is get some solid, like, positive association with going. So the ABA Center's got something that works for them, which is every time he goes, he gets to play music and he likes that. Probably because he may be doing a non-preferred. So that's why that reward works there. At home, you try that reward and here's so many other preferreds that's not worth the ask. You see what I'm saying? So the first thing we want to do is get him pretty consistent with P and buttoning up that process. So she tried something here. She tried chocolate and she said, but I don't think I'm doing it right. So the idea here is not that you're not doing it right, but that the reward, which is the chocolate, may not be worth what you're asking. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does he like the chocolate?
He like it, but I don't think I have to find another thing.
Exactly. He doesn't like it enough to want to go to the bathroom. So if you had to think of something that he loves, if he saw it anytime, he'd be so crazy to have it, what would that be?
I don't know. I have to find that thing. I don't know.
Well, think about how he spends his day. What does he love?
He don't like toys. He play and he throw, but he like his iPad.
And he gets that a lot? Does he get his iPad a lot?
Yeah, at home, yes.
Okay, got it. So what if all of a sudden he wakes up tomorrow and the iPad's missing? And he's looking for it. He said, I don't know where it went. I don't know. And then you say to him, guess what? I have the iPad. And every time you pee on the potty, you get 5 minutes with it.
Oh.
And anytime you poop on the potty, you get 30 minutes.
Oh. Okay.
So and I know this reaction is quite normal. When a child has this thing that they love a lot, and we love it, for it's valuable to us too, but it's not valuable the way he has it right now. Because if he has unlimited access to it, one of two things. The desire for it right now is like, I get it all the time and I really like it. And then second is that I can't use that I could use that as a tool to get a behavior I want, which in this case is potty training. So I could look at it as like, this is going to make my life misery, but so does changing diapers, right?
Yes.
And I'd rather deal with the consequences of him having to find something else to do and get him to pee and be in underwear 100% of the time, pee and poop in a potty, than letting him have unlimited access to the iPad, because that gives me, time to go do whatever I got to do. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So how does that feel for you? Do you think that I don't say okay, great, we're going to use the iPad as a reinforcer and she goes and grabs it out of his hand. We don't want to do that, right? What I always do is I wait for him to go to bed and then it disappears. And the next day they're looking for it. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I usually go a day or two because I want them to really want it when I show it to them again. And then I say, guess what? I found your iPad, but guess what? You can only have it for going pee-pee or poo-poo on the potty. And that just changes the whole relationship for the bathroom now, because now it's like, I want to try and do this so I can get access to this thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you thought of it from that perspective, do you think that would be enough motivation for him to want to try and go poop on the potty?
Yeah, I won't try that because I don't know another thing. I can't think now, but I think another thing, but I try the iPad first.
Yes. If it's a 10, then it's the iPad.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
No problem. I hope that was helpful. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Devora, you're next. Devora. Do another question. My son is a picky eater. There's certain foods he will eat day to day. There are times he'll try something different by biting off a small piece. How can I get him to try more foods that he likes? So when we're doing a picky eater protocol, which we have in the program, we go over this stuff in the program. What we do is we do what I call the bite for bite program. So basically I bring out the food that I want them to try, and I start with a pea size amount, right? And every time she takes a pea size amount, she gets a potato chip, right? And then
I don't know if she peed already.
and after she's
I don't know.
got
Check.
that pea sized amount, then I can start increasing the size, and she still gets the same reward. And then that's kind of how we do that with
Did she
that.
or not?
Okay, El Penna, are you ready to chat?
Yes.
All right, you're up.
Okay. So as far as like extending like the communication that you were saying with your daughter, like my daughter says like, I want milk, I want iPad, and she does it. I don't have to prompt her. So I just don't know how to extend the communication with her. I know you said some board games. She is speaking, but it's like I can't have a conversation with her.
Got it. So we can't go to like from like, you know, I think it feels like to us that if they do wants and needs, the next thing is that they should just be able to start conversing. We have to start creating what that looks like, right? So if she asks for milk, you could say, well, where's the glass, right? Oh, it's here. Do you see what I'm saying? The association with the whatever she requests. Oh, I want the iPad. Well, what are you going to watch? Are you going to watch Elmo? Are you going to watch Barney? How do you turn it on? You see what I'm saying? That's how I start my conversation skills. I take the thing, like I take a want or a need, and I start like embellishing on it, right?
Yeah.
I start to want to like take it even more to like to the next level.
Well, and I know you had said like, you know, like I could tell her, do you want the red cup? Like be more specific.
Yeah.
So I don't do that with
her. Exactly. You want the cup? What color is the cup? Do you want this cup? Do you want that cup? This is how you're asking her questions and creating dialogue like that first.
Okay.
It's not gonna be like,
I mean, we're working on sharing too, you know, back and forth, but I just didn't know how to, I don't know. I guess that was a good point that you brought up, because I didn't know what else to do to try to get her to, you know, have a conversation with me.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like we think, great, now they're talking. Let's have a combo. And they're like,
well, I mean, we went through the potty training, and thank you. I did do your boot camp, and it was amazing.
Yay.
We did like take off underwear, take off everything, and we go for it for that weekend. And that worked for us.
Amazing.
Of course, she has a little bit of accidents here and there, but
so do neurotypical children. So all good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We're really happy with that. And now she is speaking more. So we're getting her over some hurdles, but I would just like to have a conversation with her, like to be able to say, you know, do you, like I'll ask her, do you like this? And then she'll say yes or no appropriately now. So that's great. So I'm able to communicate with her that way.
Yeah. So this is what another thing we talk about in the program too, is like this, you know, we have this desire for communication, but we don't really acknowledge like how far we've come, and that maybe we already have the starts of this. You see what I'm saying? I think it's important to like look at the journey of how far she's come. Like whenever I used to feel like I took a stutter step with her, right? And I'd feel a little discouraged. I'd say, wait a minute, 6 months ago, she was signing. You know what I mean? We're going to get this. Like that kind of like that when we start changing the thinking about it, it's just, it makes things different, you know?
Yeah. When I went to you had one of these for potty training, and I was like, I didn't know what else to do. I was just in tears when I talked to you, I remember. And it was really frustrating because I didn't know how to get her to poop in the potty. She would pee in the potty, but she wouldn't poop in the potty. We had the Miralax issue. I don't know if you remember that, but we now have got that under control, and you know, it's working. So it was a huge struggle, but you know, perseverance and consistency is and everybody being on the same page, like the whole family. That is key. So I just want to thank you for helping me get her potty trained.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. Well, I hope this was helpful too. So yeah, think about conversation skills. Like it's coming, right? Yeah. I'm going to have that dialogue with my daughter. I just need to build out from where she is now. Right. It's like if you're looking at like wants and needs, conversational, that you're creating a new bridge, which is how do I get her to converse more with me?
It's kind of like you're saying more specific, right? Like when they taught her how to go potty, you know, first you go potty, flush toilet, wash hands. So they need step by step. So that's kind of what you're saying, right?
Exactly. All I did was you already know. You did this with pie train. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this step by step by step.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you so much for all your help.
Oh, no problem.
You guys are amazing.
Oh, kisses. Love it.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, Devorah, we're going to try you again. Take Devorah. See how quick we go. Hi, Devorah. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Okay. Thank you for taking me again. So here's my question. My son is 7, second grade, and he's very verbal. He's very smart, but his social skills are very lacking. And so right now he's having a lot of trouble in class. So he's acting out, he's interrupting and being disrespectful to the teacher. And so when we talk to him about it, he says, well, the kids laugh, and I think that's how I'm going to make them like me, because I don't know how else to make friends. And so the teacher is very, she says she's using all the tools that she has and she doesn't know what else to do. And so the school wants us to bring in an ABA therapist, and he's had an ABA therapist with him and before in the past, and he doesn't like it. You need to be on his team. Like if you start telling him he has to do this, and this, he'll push back. And so he's had fights with the ABA therapist in the past. And so she's not with us anymore. We're looking for a new one. But since he started talking to me about not being able to make friends and the kids like it when he does this stuff, I don't know how useful it is to have somebody in the class with him. The school is kind of insisting that we do. Would it be more helpful? Somebody said that they had the ABA therapist come to their home. So what
kind of second grade class is he in? Is he in integrated?
No, it's regular streamlined class. He's in a charter school.
And was that by your decision or collectively that was decision? How did he end up there?
So we didn't know he was on the autism spectrum. We just, sent him to the same school his sister was at. And then last year his teacher was, noticed that some things were a little off, and so recommended that we get him tested. And so that's when we got the diagnosis at the end of last year. So it's all still really new for us.
Yeah. How are you? Was that a shock, or you kind of knew this was coming?
We knew. I mean, he was a late, verbally he was late, a late speaker, and he was in a special program when he was in his 3s. That was from the local school district, but he did really well in it, so we thought he would do fine in a regular school.
Got it.
All
right, so if he was my child, right, this is my advice. If he was my child, so here's the thing: if you have a therapist come to school now, this is even more of sticking out.
Yeah,
he's desperately trying to build friendships here or get kids to like him by using this behavior because all the kids are laughing, but it's disruptive to the class. And I'm assuming this is happening pretty regularly if they're asking you to bring a therapist in, correct?
Yes.
So we have one. So in my personal opinion, I probably would get a home team in place, but I don't know if I don't know if it makes sense to have him in that classroom right now.
Okay.
And I know that, and the reason I'm saying that's for 2 reasons. One is, right now he's getting a payoff for the behavior, right? Every time I act out, I get kids' attention, and that's what I want desperately. So the only way we're going to change that is we have to give him a payout that's better than that, or equally, or not, if not better than getting the payoff of the children laughing at him.
Right.
It's going to require the school to be more on board with this. And honestly, how many kids are in this class?
25.
And they've got to manage the needs of the 24. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's impossible to get him working correctly in class. I don't think you have the support and resources with the school placement he's in now.
Yeah, I mean, it's they have an ESC department, and they've been supporting the teacher and helping her with different strategies, and like he gets a Pokemon card if he gets a certain amount of stars on his behavior chart and stuff like that. So sometimes it works.
Yeah, but like that's
just
the thing, right? Pokemon card or friends.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, you know, Pokemon, I don't care if it's gold, right?
Yeah.
If his personal desire is to have this connection with these kids, then a Pokemon card's never going to cut it. So here's what you can do now. One is I would be looking at potentially, like, is this the best placement for him if he's going to be constantly disrupting the class? That's number one. Number two is I would get a home team in place, because you need to start working on doing some social skills training at home to teach him, if he wants to make friends, that there are other ways to do it that are more effective.
Yeah.
Third, my child's friendships to this day would not be because she created them. I created them.
Yeah.
So the whole class was invited to a party. We go to every friggin' party we're invited to. I don't care if we have plans, we change them, because that's how important it is that she gets integrated with children. And when I'm there, I'm watching. And I'm not watching for the kids that she's running to play with. I'm watching for the kids that would be great peer role models for her. And then I immediately open my door. I call that mom and say, hey, I befriend the mom. I become the mom. I'm like I wouldn't say fake, but I'm the mom stalker. And I start befriending these moms like crazy. And I have play dates, and I host the children. I meet out. Hey, you need help? Hey, you need a pick up, drop up? Well, I'm your girl, right? Because the idea here is to bring this community into the home so he can get that satisfaction of having friends without disrupting his class.
So I took him on a play date last year to a friend's house. My daughter was friends with the sister, and he was friendly with him with the son at school. And so I took him there, and he played with the other kids' toys, ignored the kid, and then like a couple hours later was like, "Mommy, I'm ready to go."
So this is the thing, right? So then I'd have the play date, right? This is how it has to be. This is a step by step. So then you have the play rate. If I say, okay, go have at it, and I'm going to go watch TV or do whatever, she's going to do exactly what your son did back in the day. She doesn't do this anymore. So what we would do is I'd actually sit down with them, and we'd play like musical chairs or hot potato. Like, it's a structured play date where like I'm facilitating what we're all going to do together, right?
Okay.
Now I'm like almost like I'm still manipulating the environment. This is what we talked about, like real life manipulations. I deliberately befriend as many parents as possible. I have no time for fucking class mom. I volunteer for class mom every year. I have no time to teach religion. I teach religion every year, and I make sure I'm teaching one of my kids' classes strictly for this. How many? My goal this year is to get Juliana. She's got a best friend. They're like obsessed with each other. This is a good one, right? And I love that. Now I need to get her another one, because what if the shit, you never know. Like, all of a sudden they're cool and maybe they won't be. What if she could move away? You never know. Laura already asked her mom. She said she was staying, which is fine. But neither here nor there. You have to really become almost like this puppeteer to this. So when you have these play dates, don't waste them. Set up like structure. Okay, we're going to do a craft. All right, guys, after the craft, we're going to play this game. Okay, then we're going to have a snack. See what I'm saying? That way he can kind of get the flow of how it should be. Not, okay, there's a kid here and I'm going to parallel play. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was that helpful for you?
Yes, it was very much. Thank you.
You were thrown into this world, so I give you a lot of credit. You're really just like, all right, let's go. Let's figure out what we got to do to help him. I want to see him thrive, and I don't want it to be like I don't want to get to a point where they're going to kick him out of the class either.
Yeah.
That's going to fuck with you mentally. So like take the bull by the horns and say, listen, maybe we need to find a place that's got a better, like that has the staff and the type of support that he needs until we can get maybe ABA going at home as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're looking right now. We're just trying to find a good match. So.
All right. Well, was this helpful?
It was very much so. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Okay. I will do one more and then we'll wrap for the night. We will do Julie W. If you didn't get any of your questions answered, you can send me an email at michelle@michellbrogers.com. I already answered that. I think there was a grandma here that said that she had a child. I don't see it in the questions here. She had a child that she wanted her to tell her when she was hurt. And those types of feelings for our kids are, even to this day, is very difficult for Juliana. She gets car sick and she doesn't tell anybody, and all of a sudden she just throws up. And she still does this to this day. So it's the same thing here. Like, I have to kind of keep an eye and like, okay, now I know she gets car sick. I have to kind of keep one eye on her and keep checking in with her. Hey, how's your tummy? And then I don't just say, how's your tummy? She's going to say, fine, right? Then I say, on a scale from 1 to 10, how you feeling, right? And then she gives me numbers. And as the number goes up, then I know we probably got to pull over. We got to figure out something, right? Or she's got to throw up. That's how we get really clean on this. So we can, like, really, like, when it comes to like feelings and sickness and sickness like that, like internal sickness, you kind of really have to like look for cues and start helping them build that out. It takes some time. Okay, Julie, you're up. Hi, Julie.
Hi. I've been following you for a while.
Okay.
I'm just trying to kind of figure out what I do from here. I have a 5-year-old nonverbal son. He diagnosed with a global delays basically since birth. He's been in therapy since he's 15 months old. I feel like I'm a huge advocate for him. We do have a BCBA, we have speech, he's an OT and PT. Like, this is like our life. Okay. But he's progressed a lot, and I do have to remember that. Like, I've heard you say that, where you're like, okay, you get, I don't know, like, I feel like he's progressed a lot, but not in speech. So, but again, I do have to remember, like, he has some signs. He has, we started a AAC device probably in this summer. So he's still new to it. You know, we're trying to do a lot of things, but he has a diagnosis of potential apraxia. The problem is, like, technically he doesn't have any words. So, but like, even his developmental pediatrician even gave him that diagnosis. Do you guys have, like, I know I'm interested in the program. I've been interested in it. I have, but like, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff, and I have a BCBA, and he has 2 ABA therapists and all that. I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to figure out what more I can do for him. I'm always trying to think. But do you guys have experience in the apraxia part of it? Like, that's where I feel like I'm lacking, and there's like, I don't feel like I found anybody that can really help him.
Yes, I've had children that have had apraxia that started communicating.
Okay.
So that's that first answer.
Communicating, like speech, like he has sounds. Like, I feel like he's like,
they start with the sounds. Kids with the apraxia, they'll start with the sounds, and then they'll actually start saying one-word utterances. That's how it looks. So yeah, so it'll be sounds. Then they'll start repeating things they've heard in their environment. This is how it looks organically, right?
Right.
They have the sounds. Then they start repeating things that they hear in their environment, and then we start to prompt them for speech for things. And then what happen? This is the thing, and I'm going to ask you is, why do you think what you're doing is not working?
I don't know. I don't know. I listened to, like, he's like, we went through potty training with the BCBA. We did that. Like, this was August. He's doing really well with that, but he won't poop in the potty. Now he has, like, we definitely have like digestive issues. Partly I feel like because of that. So I was listening to, how how we should possibly try to get him to do that. I don't know. I don't know why I feel like he's not progressing, because I feel like I don't have the right team in place, possibly.
Okay. What makes you say that?
But we've had so many different therapists. We've moved. There's been a lot of different things that have happened over the last 5 years. I try to always get him the best therapist since we moved to Chicago. So that was good because there's more options here. But yeah, I guess speech wise, I'm still wondering if I have the right person in place.
Got it.
So
yeah. All right, so that's real, you know, and I'm really glad you worked through that. But I get a lot of parents that say, I don't know, and then the buck stops there, right? I don't know. I don't know is a shitty response that we all say because we feel like stumped. But if we really don't like challenge that, I don't know is like the gatekeeper to things that could be going on. So once you said, I don't know, then you kept going, which is great. Any parent who doesn't know, I really want you to think why you're saying that, right? Because it really it debilitates you from actually figuring out what the potential problem is to come up with the solve. So you already said it.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, I don't know, do you guys, I don't know what your belief is in this. I do feel like I don't know what direction, I guess, to go.
Okay.
I feel like there are like, you know, there's certainly neurological things. I mean, we've done like tons of testing. The only thing we haven't done is like an MRI because I don't want to like put him out.
Yeah.
If I don't need to. He has chronic ear infections. I mean, we've seen dietitians, we've seen, like I said, neurologists. I mean, there's different things. I mean, I'm trying to go maybe more like holistic, but I'm not, you know, like I don't know if I should go like crazy down that hill. Like I mean, I guess I just feel like there's so much information and I constantly like listen to, you know, people like you or different experts. And I'm like, where do I go? Like, do I do supplements? Do I do like, and then I get overwhelmed and then it gets debilitating. And then, like, I don't know what to do. So I don't do anything.
Right? And then you do nothing. Right?
And then you feel horrible about it.
Yes. It's like a crazy 8. Right? So the only way to break the crazy 8 is to try shit. A lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And some of it, there's no fail in this. Like I've hired people to work on stuff in my business and some of the hires sucked. You know what I mean? But I don't look at like, oh, you know, you made a bad decision and look, this cost us all this stuff and blah, 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 right? It's not about that, right? It's really about like, this is part of like growing my business. I'm going to make mistakes and that's okay. But the real problem would be if I just stopped and I don't know, or just asking questions and never answering them, like what direction do I go? And never answering it is leaving you overwhelmed and then jamming you up and now you're not doing anything to help him. And that's why you need my program.
Okay.
This is the thing, right? We work together, we try shit. If it doesn't work, we try more shit. I am countless ideas, so does my behaviors, countless ideas to get things moving. My belief with apraxia is this, and this is kind of like how I describe all children who are pre-verbal, is that if I imagine the brain to voice, that neural pathway is dormant. And I need to kickstart it. And I kickstart it with a bridge, which you kind of have been dabbling in from what you've shown me, but I don't think there's fluency.
Yeah.
If we can commit to a path, whether it's me or not, right? Commit to trying shit. And being okay with maybe it doesn't work, but that doesn't mean I stop. It sounds like you've tried a lot of stuff already and a lot of it may not have worked. Guess what? So did I. Guess what? I still did that. I don't even call it fail. I learn more than I actually win. But but what makes it okay is that I never stop. And that's why this program does so well. And the people who join, the families who join get such good results because they know I don't stop. I don't let you stop. I don't let you think what direction I go without giving you help to come up with the answer. And you stop asking shitty questions, you're going to get much better outcome for you and your baby.
Okay.
That's what the mindset stuff is about with this. But it's not even the tactical. You think it's the things to try. It's not that. It's my beliefs about trying all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Or all these things. There's the homeopathy. There's the nutritionist. There's the speech. Prompt therapy. I mean, I've heard them all. I don't even care like what it is that you're doing as long as you're doing. But if I'm just sitting in like indecision. That's what I said when I was saying, like, just make a decision. Whenever I talk to parents, I still am going to tell you about my program. We're going to help you to make a decision. Give yourself the gift of a decision. Because once you decide, yes, I'm going to join you, let's go, let's start working on this. We're doing something for my kid. Or if I say, no, this doesn't feel right, great. Now I can look for something else. But I'm always making a decision.
Okay. You're definitely good at telling people that. I guess that's where I'm like right now. I feel like I'm stuck in that like indecision.
Like I want you to think about like from you already acknowledged it, right? When I'm in indecision, I get overwhelmed and then I do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm looking at time as a currency for my 5-year-old, right, or 7-year-old, and I'm apologizing.
Yeah,
5
and
years
then
old,
I have
right?
He's five, but I like, and I have super anxiety about that. Like it's like, oh, he's already 5, and every year it's the same. Like every birthday is always like sadness. I mean, unfortunately, that's where I'm trying to like get out of this cycle.
That's why,
like,
and that's why 95% of the game isn't here. Why not? Like, how sad is that he's having a birthday and you're sad about it? That's why it's here, Julie. The work is here. That's why I'm different than any other program out there. I'm not about just the I have the tactical. I have everything you need. You probably already have everything you need. This is stopping you. I want you to get out of the cycle of being victim to this diagnosis and say, you know what? I want to just be a mom to my baby. I want to be the most effective mom to my baby, not my baby with autism. I want to love on him. I want to celebrate every birthday. I want to live in the game of the game, meaning like instead of comparing him to where I think he should be at 5 years old, think about where he was a year ago. This is how I get out of my shit every time I thought. I go back and I look at. I have all of her communication notebooks from early intervention. I'd read every page. And I'm like, oh wow, we fucking made gains here. And that's how you stay, and you stay on the track. But if you're having indecision, then the birthday comes. You see how it's like you can't withstand. So we got to get you mentally in a space where you can be like, no, I'm okay. We're going to keep moving forward. And then it's like, bring it. You'll have even different energy about it too, because you're going to be like so motivated, so empowered, like, oh, I've totally got this. I'm going to be able to figure this out for him now. I'm going to be able to make decisions on what I want to try next. I'm going to be able to listen to my gut. I think a lot of times what happens is when the diagnosis comes, it's like whatever, type of mother we were going to be just goes out the window. Well, I didn't sign up for the diagnosis. I want you to get that back.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's everything you said is very true.
I hear you, Julie. There's no reason. The way I see it with a kid who makes sounds is that there's no reason I can't make sounds with intent to sound like words. And if you saw in that video I shared with Juliana, like she was saying, "Fuh," and I could look at her, oh my God, she sounds like weird. I was so excited. What? You're some goldfish, right? It's all perspective. I could say, oh shit, her brother's talking way more than she is, which is what happened. And he's 2 years younger. Or I could be really excited when I hear, oh, okay, you guys, some goldfish. You know what I mean? It's all perspective. And which mom thought is going to keep moving me forward for her? Which mom is going to be able to take the hits and keep going?
Yeah.
I love you, Julie. You got this.
All right.
Helpful for everybody. Was this helpful for you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, if you have any questions, you let me know. You should sign up with me though. I'll help you. Join now.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to
Thank you.
No problem. All righty, everybody. That's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Social skills is a wrap. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can send me an email, Michelle@michellebrogers.com. Oh, love you, Julie. You got this. Everybody loves you in the chat. Kisses, everybody.